because why would Sergeant Nkosi think that Nico was open to giving you another list of 7 after the 7 that he had first given? And you said, well, no, Sergeant Nkosi and I spoke between the 2 lists, and I said to him, and he explained to me that he wanted another 7 from Nico.
That's correct.
And I pointed out to you that there was no communication between yourself and Sergeant Nkosi between those 2 messages, that there was no communication. And you said, I'm reading, there is, I called him. I think there's incoming calls you could pick up and an outgoing call, incoming call. And I pointed out, well, on WhatsApp there was no communication, either voice calls or messages. You said, just voice calls. I said, well, there's no WhatsApp voice call between 8:02 when you send Nico's mandate and 9:03 when you send our vehicles for land. You said there is one, but you then agreed that there wasn't one. You then said, we spoke, SC. It might have been in a straight call, but we spoke. So I said, so are you saying it would have been on a cell phone call that was not a WhatsApp call? You said, yes, we spoke on a cell phone call. I said, so if we requisition your cell phone records, we will find a call between you and Sergeant Nkosi between 8:02 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. on 25 March. You said, that's correct. And I said, and will you accept that if we do that and find no call, then this version is false? And you said, yes, I will accept. Well, we did requisition the cell phone records, and we've given them to you. And I can state that there is no call between you and Sergeant Nkosi between 8:02 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. on 25 March. Doesn't exist.
We'll check those, SC.
Sorry, you will check?
I will go through those.
Well, you've had them since this morning, and we deliberately delayed until now so that you could look at them at tea time. Do you want me to call them up so we can check them together?
I haven't done so. I'll have to check them. I'm not sure which numbers of Nkosi did you call, you take care of, whether it's one number, because he used to call with 2 numbers and so forth.
You should have been given lists for both numbers, the Telkom number and the Vodacom number. Did you only get...
For Sergeant Nkosi?
No, for you.
He also used 2 numbers.
He also used 2 numbers?
Yes.
So which number should we be checking Sergeant Nkosi for that we haven't checked?
But Deputy Commissioner, whichever number he used, it would reflect on both, on either one of your phones, or both. So it should be sufficient if we have your numbers.
Suspended Tshwane Metropolis Department Deputy Chief Umashi Dlamini has pushed back against allegations that he improperly shared a confidential bid document, insisting that the information he passed on was already in the public domain. Dlamini was testifying before the Matlang Commission of Inquiry, where a multi-billion rand municipal security tender remains under intense scrutiny. At the center of the controversy is a disputed document linked to a 2.9 billion rand contract to safeguard critical infrastructure in the city of Tshwane. The Commission has heard competing versions about the nature of the document Dlamini shared with the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit officer, Sergeant Vani Nkosi. While Dlamini maintains it was a publicly accessible report, evidence leader Matthew Chaskelson challenged this claim, arguing that what was circulated was in fact a draft bid evaluation committee (BEC) report that had not yet been released for public consumption. The issue first surfaced during the testimony of the city's chief financial officer, Gareth Mnisi, who is accused of colluding with Nkosi and Dlamini to manipulate the tender process in favor of Nkosi's brother. Mnisi told the commission that Nkosi had obtained the document from Dlamini, raising concerns about internal controls governing sensitive procurement information. According to Mnisi, the document should not have been accessible outside official channels and may have been sourced by Dlamini through an insider connected to the BEC. He further suggested that the circulation of the document played a role in the Bid Adjudication Committee's BAC eventual decision to cancel the tender altogether. However, Dlamini rejected assertions of wrongdoing, telling the Commission that he had simply facilitated access to information that was already meant for public viewing, and said it is not a BEC report. It is a closed-out report that usually upload on the website. He explained that Nkosi had requested the document, prompting him to instruct his office to retrieve it from the City of Tshwane's website. When the website was temporarily unavailable, his office instead approached the Supply Chain Management Unit, which provided a list of bidders and their pricing details. Dlamini maintained that this information was neither confidential nor restricted, arguing that Nkosi could have obtained it independently, and said, "I believe that if Sergeant Nkosi had approached SCM directly, they should have given it to him because it was already on the website." Despite his insistence, Chaskalson pressed him on the distinction between publicly available bid registers and internal draft reports, suggesting that the document shared contained details not ordinarily accessible to the public at the stage of the procurement process. Dlamini, however, stood his ground, reiterating that the document in question was administrative in nature and not subject to confidentiality. The Commission also heard that shortly after receiving the document on April 30, 2025, Nkosi forwarded it to a man identified as Mampane, believed to be a taxi industry figure. In a message read into the record, Mampane thanked Nkosi for the information and urged him to ensure that the tender did not proceed. The message read, "Buti, please let him say no to the tender bid." The tender was subsequently cancelled, a development that has further fueled suspicions about internal influence and possible interference in the procurement process. Beyond the tender itself, Dlamini was also questioned about his involvement in a separate dispute concerning unpaid invoices to service providers. The Commission heard that Mnisi had sought Dlamini's intervention after companies threatened legal action against the city for non-payment, raising the risk of municipal accounts being attached. Dlamini acknowledged stepping in, stating that there was no dispute over whether services had been rendered, and said, "I had to intervene because services were rendered and the companies needed to be paid to avoid the city's account being attached." However, the Commission raised concerns about the role played by Nkosi in these financial discussions. Rather than communicating directly with Dlamini, Mnisi had allegedly used Nkosi as an intermediary, a move that drew sharp criticism from the Commission's panel. Dlamini explained that he had acted on understanding that Nkosi was representing the CFO, and said the CFO saw it fit that he must use Sergeant Nkosi to communicate with me. He made Sergeant Nkosi his extension, and I responded accordingly. This version contrasts with Mnisi's earlier account, in which he claimed that Nkosi inserted himself into the situation after overhearing a conversation about outstanding payments between Mnisi and Gobi's 85 Solutions director Kelvin Mahlangu. Mnisi considered that in hindsight he should have engaged directly with Dlamini. Nkosi, for his part, has told the Commission that he intervened voluntarily after learning that the service providers were threatening legal action over unpaid invoices. The involvement of a police officer in municipal financial matters drew concern from Co-Commissioner Sisi Baloyi, who suggested that Dlamini should have recognized the impropriety of such an arrangement, and said, "You are improperly dealing with the city's affair through Sergeant Nkosi." Dlamini considered that the situation was far from ideal, but stopped short of describing it as improper, and said, "I wouldn't use the word improper, I would say it was incorrect." As the Commission continues to probe the circumstances surrounding the controversial tender, the testimony has highlighted serious questions about the governance, procurement controls, and the blurred lines between law enforcement and municipal administration. With multiple conflicting accounts now on record, the inquiry is expected to further interrogate the roles played by key individuals as it seeks to determine whether there was deliberate manipulation of tender process or a breakdown in institutional safeguards. What's the take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.